when you are hearing the doom and gloom story and you're saying that the average whatever is this, you don't need the average. There is 100%, there is the 99th percentile. Why are you not associating yourself with that? Why are you associating yourself with loss and pain and loser behaviors? Hey, lovely. I hope you're well. I have a question for you. When have you ever been average? And I want you to really think about this long and hard. And where this conversation or question is coming from is because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine and we were talking about some of the recent events in relationships of like celebrities and how we were so traumatized and shocked by some of the people who we quote unquote thought were good guys who ended up being bad boys. And she made a statement where she said, "There's no hope for me." And I had to just like shut it down because one, I'm a big proponent of there's power of life and death in the tongue. So I do not let the people close to me speak death over themselves, as I try not to speak death over myself. But then I asked her the question, if the average man, since that's what we were talking about, is badly behaved, why have you now determined that that's your portion? I told her, if you think of your whole life, and even the fact that her and I are friends, because it was just so random. I went on a trip that God told me to go on. I met people who changed my life, and she was one of them. I'm like, when has the average ever been your portion? And she was silent. And I said to her, if the average has never been your portion in anything you've done and are doing in life, why have you determined that for this thing, relationship and love and companionship, which you have this deep desire for from God, why do you believe that that would be average? And she's like, you're right. I'm like, I know I'm right. But I was like, I have to bring this up and speak to us about it. The struggle with, especially with relationships, and I would say anything that you've been longing for quite some time that hasn't come, is that we tend to forget the track record of every other part of our lives. When there's something we're waiting for and we don't get it yet, we silo that thing to think that it is the anomaly outside of the track record of everything else. When I think about my life, the work I do, the people I know now, God tells me to go and I go and it happens. The things that I've tried to force and finesse on my own don't work out. I have never had to do more than exist in obedience in a space, and I will be aligned because if my Father wants it for me, he will move heaven and earth. There are places where I've been where I met someone who was life-changing, but the only reason I met that person is because I was running 15 minutes late. If I had came at the time that I had planned and intentioned for, we would not have crossed paths. And when we take all of this into consideration, the track record is that when it's time, things will happen in God's timing. But when it seems like God's timing is taking a little too long and it's like, God, what time zone are you on? Like, what is happening? We tend to forget the pattern of our life. And I'm just coming here to remind you today that if God said it, he will do it. And when we are hearing stories of doom and gloom about this thing we're desiring, it's the plan and the intention of the enemy to be like, hey, you see, even that person you thought was good, they're struggling. So therefore you're going to struggle. But you need to rebuke, cast and bind and rebuke those thoughts, because with the same mind that you use to think, oh, things are taking so long because they're not going to happen, you can also use that mind to say, things are taking so long because they are being perfectly prepared and refined for me. At the end of the day, if we're going to use this creative energy to think of a thought, why are we going to think of thoughts that are going to spiral us downwards if we have the power to think of thoughts that will like move us upward? So this is my reminder to you that you have never been average. That has never, ever, ever been your portion. So the things that you are waiting for, remember that if the desire does not leave your heart, it's because it's something that is yours, and God will give us our heart's desires. And in the waiting period, it's a refining moment. It could be refining because you have some work to do to get to where you're supposed to be, because they, as in human they or entity they, have some work and refining to do. There is a perfect positioning that should take place for things to work out and be sustained long term. And when you trust in the track record of God over your life, which I just always sit back and think, I'm like, God is infinity, and with his track record with me, when you remember that track record and you think back on it and you're like, every single thing that was meant to destroy me didn't, it actually positioned me for so much better, then it becomes, why do I think that God would change his mind about this one thing? Like, who do I think I am that God would look at me and say, I am going to change my immutable character for her, to break her heart, to destroy her? Like, that's ego. Like, even though we wouldn't consider it ego to think that God would do something bad for us, if you believe that you're so special that God would change his characteristics to hurt you, you think you're so special. No, 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 no. I'm not that special. If God's track record and his promises are yes and amen, then mine will not be no and maybe. You know, like, it's yes and amen, not no and God forbid. So I want you to just sit with this and remember that when you are hearing the doom and gloom story and you're saying that the average whatever is this, you don't need the average. There is 100%. There is the 99th percentile. Why are you not associating yourself with that? Why are you associating yourself with loss and pain and loser behaviors? Stop it. Like, stop it. That's not who you are, and that's not what you should be. So lean back into the abundance of what you possess. Relinquish the need to control it. Work on what you can control. Control your personal controllables, how you show up, how you refine, how you enter the world with your light, and then let everything else align divinely as it always has for you. If you like this video, share it and subscribe and like it, but share it with a friend, like somebody who maybe has been feeling a little bit down. Give them this hope. And yeah, continue to be kind to yourself because you are a work in progress and you're making progress. I'll speak to you soon.